happening right now. Firefighters gaining the upper hand on the Swedes fire, but the battle is far from over. We take a look at the progress coming up next.
We've got round 2 of mountain thunderstorms prompting the National Weather Service to issue a red flag warning for pretty much the entire North State. I'll let you know how long this weather pattern will last.
And we've got breaking news. A verdict has been reached in the Jeffrey Menzies trial just a little while ago. We'll hear what's going to happen to the man that authorities say shot and killed a Chico pastor. KRCR News Channel 7 at 5 starts now.
You're watching KRCR News Channel 7 at 5. Severe weather first.
Firefighters are still battling the Swedes fire southeast of Oroville tonight. Good evening. Glad to have you with us tonight. I'm Mike Mangus.
I'm Jennifer Scarborough. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But first, breaking news out of Butte County right now. Jeffrey Menzies, he's the man accused of killing a Chico pastor sniper style back in September of 2011. That same pastor having connections to Shasta County. He's been convicted of first-degree murder with special enhancements of using a gun and lying in wait. That verdict came down less than an hour ago, and after less than 2 hours of deliberations. Earlier today, closing arguments were made on both sides of the case. Prosecuting attorney Mark Murphy compared what Menzies did to hunting, telling the jury that Menzies used, quote, classic hunting decisions while waiting for the prey to show up. The defense's rebuttal attempted to poke holes in one of the key witnesses' testimony, while also trying to debunk expert testimony on both the location and circumstance of the shooting. Sentencing is set for October 11th, but it is a mandatory sentence of life without parole. KRCR News Channel 7's Evan Schreiber is at the courthouse getting reaction. You're going to have that for you tonight at 6:30.
Evacuation orders have been lifted for some people in the area of the Swedes fire near Oroville. Here's what we know. As of this morning, the fire's burned about 2,000 acres. It is 45% contained. New numbers will be released tonight. We'll get those to you when they come out. More bulldozer containment lines were put in last night on the northwest flank of the fire. Hand crews are also in that area, putting out hot spots where the fire has already moved through. It's a remote area, so crews are hiking in. Aircraft still being used as well. Now for the evacuations that have been lifted.
Yeah, as he was saying, a few of those evacuations have been lifted since we were last on the air. Here they are on your screen. So these are the ones that have been lifted. They include Swedes Flat Road, Chinese Wall Road, Turkey Creek Trail, Deer Valley Road, and Stony Oaks Boulevard. Many of them were the first roads to be evacuated.
Also lifted, Stony Oaks Loop, Obert Drive, Gaston Booth Road, Gold Mountain Road, Century Court, and Hurlton Swedes Flat Road from Swedes Flat Road to Verner Oaks Drive and all the roads in between.
You may need identification, though, if you want to get back home. We've got a full list of all the evacuations that are mandatory and voluntary on our website, as well as those that have been lifted. That is krcrtv.com. We also have a special wildfire section you can check out while you're there.
Let's update the Salmon River complex of fires in Siskiyou County. So far, more than 14,000 acres have burned. It's 85% contained. It's in the Klamath National Forest in the Sawyers Bar area. There's an evacuation advisory for people along Sawyers Bar Road between Rattlesnake Gulch and Kelly Gulch. People there should be ready to evacuate if conditions get worse. All the fires making the skies in the North State smoky and hazy. Live picture here of Redding from our Mercy Medical Center Skycam. It's smoky out there. It's hot out there. Days like today are why God gave us air conditioning. There's also a red flag warning tonight.
That's right. The last thing we need right now with all these fires burning is red flag warning, but that is exactly what we have. So let's get it over to the First Alert HD Weather Center, where First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Krieger is bringing you severe weather information first.
Yeah, it looks like these storms pretty much came right on time here. We were talking about them potentially as early as Sunday, and we pretty much saw that yesterday, and we're going to see it again here today. We're already seeing it. Here's a look at First Alert Storm Tracker 7. There you can see a loop from the last 3 hours, and these storms are now starting to kind of push more from north to south, and we'll kind of take you south of Chester here, and there you can see plenty of lightning strikes there. In fact, let's take a look at how many we've seen in the last half hour in this little cluster right here. Not too many, about 12. Certainly at one point there were a lot more than that. In fact, over 100 in a matter of a half an hour. Here you can see north of Fall River Mills, we've seen some lightning strikes there. Let's take a look at how many we've seen here in the last half hour. about almost 40, as you can see. Now, one thing I also want to mention, this storm is actually moving straight toward Fall River Mills. Give it another 15-20 minutes if it continues on its current track in Fall River Mills, you'll probably be looking at some heavy rainfall. And you remember last time, over a month ago, when you saw those hailstones in the Fall River Mills area, well, radar estimates that we have hail size over an inch in diameter. Again, those are estimates, and we have yet to see that. But Fall River Mills, you'll most likely be dealing with some heavier rainfall and possibility of some hail associated with that as well, so we'll be watching that very closely. Look to your north and just kind of keep watching it there. There you can see a red flag warning for pretty much all the areas in red. That won't expire until Thursday, so we've got a round of thunderstorms coming in tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's really not until Friday that we will see the chances for thunderstorms begin to move on out of here. So we'll talk more about the chances for thunderstorms, and it's not just the mountains. The valley can see some activity as well. Details coming up just a few minutes.
All right, thank you for that, Mike. We are also staying on top of several fires burning across the country right now. Some evacuated people in the central Idaho resort area of Ketchum and Sun Valley are being allowed to go home tonight. Residents of about 100 homes have been allowed to go back. About 2,000 homes remain under evacuation orders because of the 160-square-mile Beaver Creek fire. The blaze is only 8% contained. Fire managers say a shortage of resources is making the fight difficult.
In northern Oregon, 3 fires have morphed into one. Lightning sparked the Government Flat complex of fires Friday afternoon. It's about 83 miles east of Portland. Dozens of people there have been ordered to be ready to leave. Crews are trying to protect a water treatment plant that's been threatened by the fire.
If you see a fire, if you've got pictures or video of any of the fires that are currently burning, email them to us. Send them to news@krcrtv.com, or you can send it to us on Facebook or Twitter. We are at KRCR7, or at any time it might end up on air online.
And speaking of online, we put a slideshow of your pictures right there. To see it, head to krcrtv.com and scroll to the bottom of the page. The slideshow section is on the bottom left-hand side of your screen.
We are still working around the clock to bring you detailed information about stories and events that put severe weather information first. Every half hour, the chief is going to have your first alert forecast. Then coming up at 5:30, meteorologist Carlo Falco is talking to experts about how these high temperatures are affecting your children as they go back to school this week. And then ahead at 6:30, what these smoky skies could be doing to your lungs and what you can do in order to be a little more safe. Tehama County's secret witness is offering up to a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of a person responsible for a brutal crime that happened nearly 7 years ago. Police say 36-year-old Eugene Morgan was beaten nearly to death on October 28, 2006, wound up in a coma, and later died. Tonight, police are saying they think they know who did it, but they don't have enough evidence to file charges, and that is where you come in. Morgan was known as a transient. He was found with severe injuries to his head and face in a wooded area on Lake Avenue near the Sacramento River. 2 people were identified as suspects, but as we mentioned, not enough evidence has been developed to file charges against either one of them. However, police tell us they believe that there were other people in the area who may have seen the attack or may have seen something that could lead them to better evidence. If that is you, please contact Red Bluff Police. We want to bring you the facts when and where you want them, and that, of course, includes online. For more on this story or any of the other stories you've just seen, go to krcrtv.com anytime. Growing marijuana, it can take up a lot of resources, including water. You've been following this.
I have for quite a while here. In a dry summer, when there's no more runoff, the growers get it illegally. But Mr. Water told me today it's a big problem. We'll break it down next on KRCR News Channel 7 at 5.
Plus, the Paralympic athlete who rocketed to fame as the Blade Runner had cameras pointed at him for an entirely different reason today: the murder of his model girlfriend. We headed to the courtroom for his first appearance.
And tonight at 5:30, another fight outside Johnny's Bar in Reading. It's being called a hate crime on what turned out to be a violent weekend. I think we're showing you the wrong pictures here. Let's go to the break.